Hi, hey, hi, it's me, your Void, and I'm back again. So, if you've seen my last writing vlog, which you should have because you're missing key context if you haven't watched that, so go watch it now. I will wait for approximately 3 seconds. You can pause this video and watch the other one. Go. Okay, cool, you watched it, now you know where we're at this point. Yeah, remember how I said I am ready to brainstorm scenes and start on the outline? I was wrong. Because to hunt down a serial killer, you kind of need a serial killer, right? So, yeah, I figured out the kills and everything, and I have like a little bank of murders to pick from, but I never figured out who the man actually is. I mean, all the research into profiling that I did, by the way, I did a lot of research into profiling since we last saw each other. That itty bitty thing I know about profiling, most of it is from Criminal Minds, tells me that this is a white man in his 30s or 40s. But the rest I had to figure it out on my own. So I did. So I actually sat my ass down and was like, oh shit, I'm missing this key character. Like, I know how he kills, but who is this guy and why does he kill the way he does? So I figured that out. I figured it out, period. And while I was figuring that out, I had an epiphany. I literally had one of those light bulb goes on, click, ding, whatever moments. And I figured out not only who is this guy, but how does he connect to the rest of the story, which made the story so much more interesting. I can't prove it to you because I have to write the story yet, and telling you how this guy is connected and how it made the story more interesting would be a major spoiler, so I can't tell you. You have to trust me. It made everything so much worse for the main characters. Let's leave it at that. So I figured this guy out, very proud of it, and I set up his character profile the way I set it up for everyone else, and then I just took some notes because there were so many stray thoughts in my brain that did not make any kind of sense because it was like a sentence here, a sentence there. So I sat my ass down and I just wrote by hand because that slows down my thoughts to a point where I actually have time to think them. And then I just think them out loud on paper. So I have a bunch of stuff here, spoilers. Wait, so yeah, these are the spoilers. This is just research, so I can do it like this. But yeah, I have, this is just research into, hey, what kind of profile would I need my characters to build to figure out that it is the guy that it ultimately is? So I specifically did some research into how does a profile work and educated myself on organized offenders, modus operandi, and signatures, and the difference between staging and posing, because apparently there is a difference. I did not know that. I thought staging and posing are kind of the same thing, but it is not. And I also like dipped my toe into the psychology of psychopaths and what is the difference between a psychopath, a sociopath, and someone with antisocial behavior disorder or something like that. So I dipped my toes into that. I'm not going to go full-on psychology studies here. I want to call it bare minimum, but I'm probably, knowing myself, I'm going to dive way deeper than I have to. And also I have educated psychiatrists in this story, so I may need to do a deep dive in order to make this sound convincing, at least, you know? And then I can't show you the second page because spoilers, that is literally written out, the entire connection, the entire motive. Where does the actual killer come from? How is he connected to everyone else in the story? Why is he killing? How is he killing? How does he pull it off? Where did he get his start? Like, it's the entire backstory of the murderer so that our characters can discover all of that bullshit. But I wasn't fully lying when I said I'm down to make scene cards, because I actually made some scene cards. It's not shaping up to be a plot just yet. It's very, very little plot, actually. It's literally just scenes that pop into my mind that I think I want to see these characters in. Most of them, I think, would make it into the book. There's one or two where I'm not sure if they will stay ultimately. but most of them are pretty substantial scenes that kind of need to happen in a way anyway. So yeah, so that's what I'm up to right now. I don't know how long this vlog will last. I'm just gonna film until I feel like stopping, I guess. But since I have my killer figured out, I am now actually thinking I have to go to the scene cards, because I don't know if you can see that, but I also came up with all of the major settings where things will take place. So yay, because that is also a thing that I forgot to do. So yeah. But I have my cast, I have my killer, my motive, like I have everything figured out in that corner. I have my settings. I think, other than some more research to make these characters sound the way they should sound, and making scene cards so I can start coming up with a plot, I think that's all I need to do at this point. So I will get back to you when I have something to talk about.
We all enjoy being together, but is anyone left out?
I think so.
Well, that's our guest list. Now, invitations. Should we write? Dear Alice, would you like to come to a party at my house Saturday, March 24th at 8 p.m. and so on?
Well, I thought we were right. This is just an informal party. Let's just phone everyone.
Next business, refreshments.
We have to feed the men.
And the girls, too. Especially you.
Gee, thanks. The show. Well, we want something to eat, something to drink. Refreshments.
All right, now next is entertainment.
We want to show Steve a good time, but, well, we don't know too much about what he likes. The best thing I know for breaking the ice and getting people acquainted is some good mixer games.
It's a big night.
So, it's been a week, maybe two? I don't know. I quite honestly forgot when I last updated this vlog. I just know that I'm done with my outline. I don't know how it happened. because I didn't do any of the things I usually do when I outline a book. If the camera is shaking, please excuse that. My puppy is infatuated with the tripod. So, yeah, he's doing things. 1 second. Why is this dog? Why? What? This is probably his new favorite spot. Because he's hanging out there quite a lot. It's not even that hot, so there's no reason for him to just chill on the marble, but yeah. Anyway, that's just my puppy being a Labrador. He's licking the marble. Anyway, I'm done with my outline and I don't know how I got here. Because usually what I do is everything that comes to mind with my characters, with my settings, whatever, any kind of scene, any kind of idea, I usually spit out onto a little card that I made myself. You saw me doing that already. And then when I have a bunch of them and my brain doesn't spit anything out anymore, I start arranging them into something that might resemble a timeline. And then I know, okay, there's a gap, I need to fill that. There's a gap, I need to fill that. That one is completely irrelevant. Yeet. I didn't do that this time. Like, I have a handful of these scene cards and I arranged them into a template. I don't want to call it a template because I opened the document and I started typing. There were a lot more scenes as like plot relevant scenes missing from these cards than I had cards, but somehow everything else just came together. And I had a rough outline, which is this beautiful thing. This is based on what a thriller outline should look like. So we have Act 1, 2A, midpoint, 2B, and 3. That's this. And then I took this and I made it worse. So with this general outline, I knew where the killer was at any given point and where the investigation was at any given point. So then I brainstormed a bit more and had an entire outline done shortly after. Like, it didn't take me too long. And remember how I said that 8 murders might be a bit excessive, that this is going to, like, bloat the word count? I used 6 of those 8 murders. I had to use 6 of those 8 murders in order to make this story work, at least as an outline. I also had to talk with my very creative friends to answer the question, dual timeline, yes or no, and how many perspectives should the story have. So this will not be dual timeline, which I almost already knew when we started that talk, but more importantly, I am now aware of how many perspectives I need in this and whose perspective it is. So most of this story will be told from the ex-profiler twin, but then here and there I have a couple of other perspectives in there. One very important POV is going to be the media, because the way the killer works is the media needs to play a certain role, and also we love in this day and age to not necessarily celebrate suffering, but the media likes to sensationalize acts of violence, and humans, we are noisy. And when there's violence, we want to know what happened. We want to know who was involved. That is a big part of this story, so I also figured out how to do that and how to weave it into the story, and the brainstorming session with my friends was actually really amazing to figure that out. And now I am very, very hyped to write this. And starting today, I will try my hands at a 75 soft for writers challenge. It's very, very soft. I'm very, very nice to myself because I am very bad at forming habits, and even if I manage to do all 75 days of this challenge, there will not be a habit for me, simply because I have ADHD and it is scientifically proven that we cannot physically form habits. It is almost impossible for us to get a habit. But yeah, I will try to write this and to finish this in 75 days actually. I counted this, in terms of scenes, like I take the average length of a scene, I counted all of the scenes, I should end up with somewhere around the 90,000 words for this, somewhere between 90 and 95,000 words, which is, I checked, in the margin for the genre. That 90 to 95,000 is pretty much right there. It's pretty much right there for a thriller. So that's apparently whatever I'm doing it right so far. I also expanded on the murders. I have the core meaning, the staging. Again, the staging is very important. The location of where it is being staged, the victim choice, what the message is the killer wants to send. I also have expanded on all of the victims. They now are people, and they have next of kin, like people that can be interrogated, I guess, in order to bring this investigation forward. I am very excited to write this. Today will be the first day that I am drafting. I am so here for it.
Later that same evening.
I hate what I'm writing. I'm 1 day in. I'm 1 day in, and I already hate everything that I wrote. I did 90 minutes of writing in 2 different 45-minute sprints, and everything was hunky-dory, and I was writing it. But something was missing, and I know exactly what it is, but my brain refuses to let me fix it. So now I'm looking at this, and all I can see is bullshit. But, and it's a big but, I don't care. I don't care, because this is a first draft, and the first draft's only function is to make what is in here exist, so that I can perceive it with my eyes and not just with my thoughts. So even though I know it is horrible, it is horrible, horrible writing, it is horrible writing. And this is not just imposter syndrome speaking here. No, this is genuinely horrible writing. If you would read this, no, you would DNF after like the second paragraph. Trust me. This is bullshit. Certified bullshit. But that's fine. I'm fine with that. I will keep going. I will keep hating it. And then I will fix it in edits. But I have started writing this book, this novel, this draft. And I have started my 75 days of writing challenge. And I hope I can do it. I hope I can write for those 75 days in a row. We will see. And I will end this vlog here because there's nothing else to talk about other than I hate all of the 2,000 words that I've written so far. If you made it this far into the video, I don't know, let me know your predictions. Can I do it for 75 days? Keep in mind, I am someone who is physically incapable of forming habits. Do with that information what you will. And if you don't want to talk to me, leave another pen emoji down in the comments below. And I guess I will see you in the next video. Bye!